like to call to order this
Recording
meeting.
in progress.
Susquehanna Commissioners. I would note that all commissioners are present, with the exception, of course, of Jody Barczak, who's left our ranks and moving on to bigger and better things. Commissioners Rothrock and Engel, unless Fred has dialed in, are excused. Okay. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. And in your moment of silence, I would ask that you thought for the 5 police officers killed or injured in the tragic incident in New York, and also Esther Napper. I would ask that the pledge tonight be led by former Commissioner Jody Barczak.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody, to the workshop meeting of the Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners, September 25th, 2025. We'll begin with petitions, complaints, suggestions from citizens. Does anybody wish to address the board tonight? Yes, ma'am. Please come forward. Just state your name, your address, and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes.
Okay. My name is Wendy Klein. My address is 217 Saddle Ridge Drive. My concern tonight is the new proposal with the trash pickup. I live in the townhouse development. I don't have a garage. Our homeowners association does not allow us to keep our trash cans in the front yard. I actually live, the back of my house where I would have to keep my trash cans are down. I would have to drag the trash can around, because I live in the center, I don't live on the end, up a hill to get to the front of my house. I don't think this particular proposal is one shoe fits all. I think it needs to be concern for older citizens who probably have the same situation or like me, who really cannot drag a trash can. And although I did call yesterday and spoke with somebody before I came here, and they said there are several different sizes of cans, but still, to put trash, my trash now goes out in bags. I keep it on my deck. I have a black plastic trash bag in my can on my deck. I pull that out and I take that. I certainly don't want to have to drag a trash can through the snow, through the ice, when it's raining, and I don't want to bring one through my house. And that's my concern tonight. I wish you would possibly think about that.
Okay. If you could talk to Manager Everly, we are still in discussions over some of the finer points of the contract, but that will certainly be taken into consideration.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Alan. Anybody else wish to address the board tonight? Hey, stranger.
Jody Barczak, 529 North 4th Street. Commissioners, staff, members of the public, good evening. After 15 years of service as First Ward Commissioner of Susquehanna Township, I have submitted my resignation to the board effective yesterday in order to pursue a new professional opportunity. How to encapsulate 15 years of service and experience in 3 minutes. First, I will say it has been an honor and privilege to represent the constituents of the First Ward and more broadly serve the residents of the township. Thank you for placing your trust in me. I've always admired the passion Susquehanna's citizens have for their community. Thank you to the staff and volunteers for your tireless dedication to ensuring that Susquehanna Township is a safe, healthy, and beautiful place to live. Some of you go back much longer in your service and commitment into the township than I, Chief Martin and Fire Marshal Dries, for example. And it has been a pleasure to know and work with all the staff. So thank you. To my colleagues on the Board of Commissioners, it has been my honor to work alongside all of you. I know you have the best interests of the township's residents in mind when making decisions. We have always agreed upon that, and I am proud to have been part of a board that prioritizes service and always seeks to improve the quality of life for constituents. President Lynch, Frank, I will always be grateful for your leadership and guidance as president of the board. When I first came on the board, you afforded me the opportunity to learn a great deal about local government in a short amount of time by appointing me as commissioner liaison to several boards and commissions. The experience of being immersed in many facets of the township was invaluable in understanding how local government works, so thank you for that. Looking to the future, someone we all know, Richard Norford, Dick, as we know him, stepped up and submitted his application, as I understand, for the vacancy of First Ward Commissioner. You all know Dick as the township's volunteer bike ped coordinator and recent recipient of the Heart of Susquehanna Volunteer Award. Dick's service to the township has provided him an opportunity to work directly with staff, commissioners, and volunteers in key township functions. He also has extensive business acumen from his long career, too much to enumerate here. I know that he'd be an excellent representative for the residents of Ward 1. I must also thank his wife, Kay, for supporting Dick in his application to serve. Public service done right requires a great deal of commitment and sacrifice, not only for the public official, but also for their family. That said, in conclusion, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my husband, Joe, and my 3 now adult children for their unwavering support throughout my 4 campaigns and 15 years of service to the township. There were many late nights, missed dinners, including one anniversary, and long conversations at the grocery store about high grass. By the time the kids were teenagers, no one would go into the grocery store with me because they knew a quick trip to pick up milk would never be a quick trip. So to my family, thank you for always supporting me and doing the things that mattered. Thank you all.
That's why I never go to the Giant for milk. I go to Sheetz. It's in Lower Paxton. Thank you, Jody. Very nice, nicely done. Anybody else have anything they'd like to address? Well, we have 2 people online. Mr. Knaus?
Yes, Lorraine had her hand up. You can unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know when I was supposed to ask this. Now you can see me. I live at 1305 Upton Drive, Harrisburg 17110. And my concerns were about the trash. I actually called Penn Waste today. They had absolutely no information for next year. I had asked, are we going to be able to do bulk? How much is it going to be to purchase an additional can? And what's going to happen when we have snow and when sometimes the PennDOT guys are working very hard, they can't pick up the trash, and then they say you could put out double next week if we're all given 1 can. So I just had a lot of concerns. And also, not all of us are physically able to necessarily line things up correctly for this automation. So those were my major concerns, and I just didn't know when I was supposed to ask them, but I did want to voice them.
All right, thank you. Is there somebody else? Doug?
Yeah, SP.
Okay, my name is Sarah Pusner. I live at 3515 Green Street in the Montrose Park neighborhood. Number 1, I want to thank Jody for her years of service. Much appreciated, and I wish her much success going forward. I did want to request, what I would like to address is the Penn Waste contract under consideration. Specifically, the ability of residents to acquire additional 96-gallon trash cans, bins, and the 64-gallon recycling bins per bid instructions. I looked over the bid instructions, and it is stated that it's something that they should be providing. And my question is, how exactly is this going to be provided? Are they going to be charging us? Because I called Penn Waste and they told me, oh, if you want another can, you have to pay double for service. So let's say if service is going to be $99, I would have to pay double that per quarter. Somebody else told me, oh, you're going to have to pay $20 additional per quarter. So, and then I spoke to somebody, Leanne, in the township, and she wasn't sure, and she said she would get back to me, and she told me about tonight's meeting. So my question is, what exactly is in the contract in regard to additional cans? Because right now, we have 432 gallon. 96 is only for 3 cans. And recycling, we used to have unlimited. Since they're not going to, since you need bins, everything has to be in the bins, we would need additional bins. So that's my question. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, 1 bin is enough, but for families, usually it will not be enough. So my question is, I'm sure it's not the only one. I spoke to other neighbors. They just don't have the time to come to the meeting, and I said I would address it. So my question is anybody able to answer that question with, I understand the contract is under consideration to be signed today.
Mr. President, I can take that question. Thank you for all your questions. I hear that there's a lot of conversation going on about trash. I understand that. And I think some of that was generated by the short article that we had in the newsletter and the upcoming plan. I will tell you that mid-October, Penn Waste will be sending out I will say mid-October to late October, an informational piece that will cover everything. How you get extra carts, how we're going to roll it out, like all the information. We are also looking to meet with some of the HOAs and some of the other potential problem areas in the township to address potential issues like you mentioned. Like, how do we make that work for everybody? I'll just start by saying the reason we went to cart-only service is because that is the most efficient, most low-cost service that we could provide our residents. At a rate of $99 a cart, that's significantly lower than most of the other municipalities around here. And we got that rate because of how we crafted the bid. Certainly, there'll be opportunities to adjust that in terms of specific services, but we agree not one size fits all. We'll be working with our residents as we roll it out. In the contract, it does say if you want additional cans, it's $99 a cart. We can continue that conversation with Penn Waste to see if there's any bending on that, but that's what was in the contract.
Okay, I don't have a problem with paying for an extra cart. I just thought being double billed, paying $200 a quarter would be unfair.
I hear what you're saying. I'll take that to Penn Waste.
All right, so I know that before the contract signed, just want to make sure that we're clear that is how it's going to be.
Understood. This contract is more of a formality. We've already accepted their bid several months ago. So at this point, we're really not at a point where we're not going to accept the bid. We've already accepted their proposal. It's more of a formality. But I just say Penn Waste has been a really good partner with us, and if we have concerns, I think they're willing to hear us. If there's an overabundance of folks who need 2 carts, maybe there's some consideration. I can't speak for them, but I know they do listen to us.
All right. Am I speaking? Who am I speaking with right now?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm Teresa Everly. I'm the township manager.
All right. Thank you for the information. I appreciate that.
Yeah, there's more to come, and as it rolls out and you have questions, feel free to give us a call. I know it's a change, it's a big change. It's one that we needed to make to say, competitive. A lot of folks around us, they're in, 100, 115, 125 a quarter for trash, and we've been able to keep that down to 99, and pretty happy that Penn Waste was willing to work with us on that.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I wish you much success in continuing to take care of our beautiful township.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Anybody else online, Mr. Knauss?
No one's indicated.
Okay. Anybody else in the audience wish to address the board at this time? If not, we'll move on to our agenda. And the first item is First Ward Commissioner. And the chair will, in your packets is the letter that former Commissioner Rybarczyk sent to us. And we need a motion to accept the resignation and open the vacancy. Is there a motion?
So move. I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And at this point, are there any candidates in the audience who would like to put their name forward for consideration? Yes, sir. Please come forward, state your name, address.
So my name is Richard Norford. I'd like to apply for the job of Commissioner for Ward 1. So should I keep talking and wait to see if there are other candidates?
Please do. Just say a few words.
Please keep talking. So
Yeah. Less than
As
3
much
minutes.
as
Steve, we
3
start the
minutes, I'm
timer
at a
here.
time. This guy. Yeah. He's long-winded.
you do know me, don't you?
We do.
Actually, I can say it in less than 3 minutes, Commissioner. So I've actually lived in the township 5 years. I've been very active on a number of different committees, the Recreation Advisory Committee. I've served for the last 3 years as a bicycle pedestrian coordinator, for which I was supposed to be paid $1 a year. I never got paid. So,
Tracy, can you take care of
that? Worked with the staff. I do live in Ward 1, and I see great opportunity to work. Very big shoes to fill from Jody from before, but I'm ready and willing and able to serve. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else interested? Please come forward. State your name and address.
Certainly. Good evening, everyone. My name is Erin Kraska. I have been a resident of the First Ward for almost a decade now at 4010 North 6th Street. I live there with my husband and now our young daughter. I submitted my information. I am a long-standing public servant. I served as a district attorney and assistant district attorney in Cumberland County and York County most recently, serving the citizens of those counties and protecting our citizens of those counties. I recently went into private practice. I am a criminal defense attorney and a family law attorney. So I see my service to the community a little bit differently these days, but still serving people in their times of need. I come from a family of service. My husband is actually a volunteer fireman in this township and has served this township for a long time as a volunteer. I see there are a lot of great people serving our township already, and I'm ready, willing, and able to help with that in whatever way that I can.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your interest. Is there anybody else before we move on in the agenda? Okay, at this point, the chair will entertain a nomination for First Ward Commissioner.
I nominate Richard Norford as Commissioner for the First Ward.
I'll second that nomination.
Moved by Commissioner Polona, seconded by Commissioner, what's your name? Israel. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? All right, nominations are closed. All those in favor of the appointment of Richard Norford as First Ward Commissioner, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Richard. For condolences, I'm not sure which, but Jody will fill you in. And for Aaron, I'd like to thank you for stepping forward, throwing your hat in the ring. You have an impressive resume, and this is a township that really prides itself on the quality of citizens, their willingness to engage, and the energy that they can bring. So we look forward to working with you on many other fronts. But we would like to thank you.
I will continue to put my name forward to help as any way I can.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, at this point, do we have a judge in the house? No.
Judge Marjoram,
Judge Marjoram.
to swear in your new appointee.
Yeah.
Where do you want to?
You guys just come up this way.
Raise your right hand, please. I state your name.
I, Richard Norford,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will obey and defend the Constitution
that I will obey and defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Good to see you again.
put that on this. Thank you. Congratulations. So I get to go sit in the chair.
We have a book there for you.
Do we get it? Congratulations. All right.
Just found a typo.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Here goes the Harrisburg Bicycle Club. All right, moving on in the agenda. Approval of minutes from our September 11th Board of Commissioners regular meeting.
So I will.
Second.
Again.
Bologna Hisro. All right. Comments, questions? All those in favor?
Yeah, before you, I do have a question.
Yes.
I was going
Just
to,
got
on
that.
this real quick, Lisa, in the commissioners, on page 3, under public hearings, number 1, I've been thinking about this some more. I just want to make sure the language there at the bottom where we accept the motion, approve the motion, it says, to adopt ordinance 2507 as amended above. Whether the language as amended above is necessary, because as I look at 2507 above, I thought it incorporated everything by definition. So I'm just asking for clarification whether we need that language or not. Or it should just be a period after 2507. I'm comfortable either way, I just wanted that for clarification.
Can we accept the minutes pending clarification
Sure.
with staff?
Yeah, I just raised it as a question to clarify.
Been moved and seconded. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Recognitions and presentations. First up, proclamation going to be delivered by Commissioner Hisro, and it's in honor of Helen Louise Francis Lester. Carl?
Okay, you can go down.
Yeah.
3
Family members wish to join Mr. Hisro at the lectern?
I was going to ask any family members? Okay. Proclamation of the Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners recognizing Helen Louise Francis Lester. Oh, Helen was my mother's first name too. Whereas Helen L. Lester, a longtime resident of Ridgemont in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, was born on July 28, 1919 in Poughkeepsie, New York, and lived a life defined by faith, hospitality, and devotion to family and community for 106 years, passed peacefully on September 11th, 2025. Whereas she married the love of her life, Massey Lester, in 1948. Their union was blessed with one daughter, Wanda Phyllis Lester. Whereas Helen and Massey built, owned, and managed the Trails Inn Bar and Hotel, where for 33 years this establishment became a safe haven in the community who came for Helen's famous Southern cooking and warm hospitality. Whereas Helen served faithfully for over 70 years at Mount Sinai AME Church, where she was a missionary, usher, stewardess, and member of the culinary committee in her later years. She also became a very proud Wheeler Wherever member of Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church in Houston, Texas. Whereas Helen was affectionately known as the Queen of Edgemont, she was a pillar of her neighborhood, admired for her kindness, wisdom, and grace. Helen lived a life of service. She was a proud member of the Bluebirds, the Frontiers International, and the Sickle Cell Council, and volunteered with countless other organizations. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Board of Commissioners of Susquehanna Township, do hereby express our sincere condolences to the family of Helen Louise Francis Lester, in witness whereof this proclamation is presented to the Lester family on this 25th day of September 2025.
Nicely done. So sorry to hear about the passing of Esther, but she must have been a true inspiration. 106 years old, Carl? It's a long time to live, but it sounds like she made the most out of it.
It was Esther acknowledging.
Thanks, Nate. All right, next up is a police award retirement citation for Corporal Chris Haynes. And we have Representative Justin Fleming's here. Chris and Justin and Chief, could you come forward, please?
Does he have power?
Did a triple wire?
Or maybe.
You don't touch TVs.
Probably in the minutes.
The camera has power.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't have to feed right now.
Hey,
Ben Justin.
right, Doug.
What's happening?
There we go. Okay. Ready. Board, thank you so much. Gary, no, I'm just kidding. You need an impact where you at. No, Dick, congratulations on your appointment. Your appointment here as First Ward Commissioner. And I also do want to offer my condolences to the family of Mrs. Lester. As a proud son of Edgemont myself, she was an absolute legend in our neighborhood and our community. So recognize some of her family from the visitation. But I am here for other business to salute our retired Mr. Chris Haynes, who served ably with the Susquehanna Township Police Department for many, many years. And this is bittersweet for me because for the last several years, I have seen Chris Haynes every weekday during the school year as he served as the school resource officer for the middle school, which my daughter now attends. She's an 8th grader, so every day for about 2 years, driving her to school every morning, I see Officer Haynes pull up in front of me, greeting the students with a smile and just being generally present at the middle school. So, and that was always a relief for me. Anything can happen at any time, but Officer Haynes was there right on the front line with our children, making sure they were safe every single day. So for that and many other things, Chris, we thank you. And I'll just read this briefly. The House of Representatives, whereas the House of Representatives of Pennsylvania takes great pleasure in recognizing those citizens who selflessly devote their lives to ensuring the safety of the residents of their communities and ultimately of all the people of this great Commonwealth. And whereas Corporal Chris Haynes is being honored upon his August 26, 2025 retirement after 24 years of dedicated and distinguished service to the Susquehanna Township Police Department. And whereas, to his great credit, Corporal Haynes has served his country with honor and distinction as a member of the United States Marine Corps. Prior to beginning his career in law enforcement, during his service with the Susquehanna Township Police Department, he held the positions of patrol officer first class, corporal, and school resource officer. Additionally, Corporal Haynes was a member of the Dauphin County Accident Reconstruction Team and the Honor Guard. He is the recipient of a life-saving medal, an Award of Merit Medal, and an Order of Honor Medal. Corporal Haynes faithfully displayed great loyalty, commitment, and professionalism in the performance of his duties as a member of the Susquehanna Township Police Department. He served with consummate skill, upheld the laws of this Commonwealth, and served as a role model for all those who aspire to a career in law enforcement. Now, therefore, the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania pays a respectful tribute to Corporal Chris Haynes upon his richly deserved retirement, notes with pride and gratitude his record of service, which far exceeds those standards normally described as exemplary, offers best wishes for every future success and happiness, and directs that a copy of the citation sponsored by myself be transmitted to Corporal Haynes. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you.
I'll just make it very
Aside from goodbye.
I appreciate everything. I was officer here for the township for 24 years, 2 years at Manor Township, and then I served 6 years in the Marine Corps. It was great to serve my country, and I appreciate it. I want to thank the commissioners. I thank the residents here. Thank you for employing me. And also thank you to the chief. Chief is obviously he was my boss for those last 24 years, but he also was a good mentor to me. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm blocking.
Oh, you will be.
All right. Need one more. Just a little late to the party tonight.
Come in front of me. There you go. That's you. Uh-huh.
Not in your way, Jody, am I?
Nope.
I'll just mix it. I'll go around.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your problem.
Thanks, Rep.
Down the line.
Congratulations. All right. Hey, you're retiring. You are one. Congratulations.
Thank you. Now you can go to work, Chris.
Congratulations. Okay. Next up, under recognitions and presentations, is our consultant with the STMP Financial Condition Assessment. Please come forward and identify yourself briefly for the television camera.
3 minutes.
Deemed to
3 minutes.
20 million.
3 minutes. Walk us through these slides. Good evening. I'm Brooke, and this is Dan Kyle. I was here a few months ago to present to introduce the STMP program and the benefits of the program. I believe that was the evening that you all accepted us as your consultant to help draft, which is ultimately going to be the 5-year plan. This evening, we're here to present what we like to think of as the first building block of the plan. It's the financial conditions assessment and trends analysis, which is a lot of words to say that we took a look back 5 years back and we identified historical trends, and we use that information to then project forward. And that forward projection, we'll use these words this evening, a baseline forecast, and it's essentially, if nothing changes as we move forward, what is the financial outlook for the township? Progress to the next slide. This is just an overview of some of what I just said. The purpose of this, the STMP engagement, which again is a reminder that the township received a grant for this from the Department of Community and Economic Development. There's several building blocks. I just went through 2 of them. Ultimately, the plan establishes a 5-year financial forecast, assuming trends remain the same, and then we identify a handful of recommendations and a strategy to help improve that forecast. Over the last few months, since I was here last, we've been speaking to all your elected officials, we've talked to your manager, your financial management staff, we've talked to many other department heads and key stakeholders. We've also conducted a community survey that was open for a few months, and hopefully some of the residents here were able to participate. We'll wrap up those conversations over the next few weeks as we progress forward in our plan. Back to the first slide. We like to start our presentations with a summary of our key findings, a high-level summary, and then we'll step through in greater detail how we arrived at our summary findings. At the start, Susquehanna Township has sustained solid fiscal condition, supported by a stable tax base, strong general fund cash reserves, and periodic real estate tax millage rate increases. The 2 most recent, I believe, in 24 and 25. The townships also used their COVID relief funds strategically, and that they came from both the county, your county cares funds, as well as from the federal government, the ARPA funding. American Rescue Plan Act funding. The township received about $3 million of those COVID relief funds, which ultimately helped build cash reserves, also likely limited some of those real estate tax millage rate increases that I referenced earlier. And also, the township works closely with the authority to cost share across your workforce, which we think is an efficient way to distribute costs across both entities. And despite a lot of strengths. The township is also exhibiting what we call structural budgetary balance, and essentially just means that your expenses are growing faster than your revenues. Specifically, revenues have increased at an average annual rate of about 3% in comparison to expenses, which have grown at about 6%, so double. On the expense side, as is the case with most municipalities, workforce costs are driving your expense growth. On the revenue side, in the township, it's been some real estate tax increases. Those are a result of increasing the millage rate, and also growth in EIT, which is earned income tax. That's your residents likely see this come out of their paycheck. That has grown because the township has had more workers over time. Census data shows about 2% average annual growth in workers over time, and that's one of the reasons that we have found that there's a very stable and growing tax base here. Our general fund baseline projections, again, that's if nothing changes, if this structural budgetary balance persists, I think it's logically you will have operating deficits in the future, right? Revenue will be below expenses, and as you have operating deficits over time, you have to use your cash reserves to fund operating expenses. In addition, the township has identified significant capital needs, almost $15 million in capital needs over the next few years, of which a majority are road-related projects. Those additional capital needs will further stress the financial position moving forward. The township and the county, really, most municipalities in the county and the state are also dealing with fire service challenges. In particular, the decline of volunteer firefighters is forcing fire companies, fire departments to rethink the structure of service over time. And providing fire service requires equipment, it requires facilities, and those capital needs have to be maintained and improved over time, and that can be costly. The millage rate in Susquehanna is near the median for Dauphin County municipalities that rely on local police. There are 40 municipalities in the county, and only 16 rely on local police. The remainder, the majority, rely on state police, and state police at this time are free. So obviously those that have who have municipal funded local police service generally have to have higher millage rates in order to fund those services. Susquehanna falls around the median of your fellow communities that provide local police service. The goal of this STMP engagement is ultimately to create a 5-year plan. Just walk through the fact that the township has key strengths, but there are also very real challenges facing the township. Our plan will make recommendations to help address some of those challenges by controlling workforce costs and pension costs in particular, helping to strengthen capital planning, focusing on economic development, and also evaluating alternative fire service structures that may be sustainable in the long run.
As Brooke mentioned, the building blocks for our baseline forecast really come from a historical look back at your financial performance, which is logical, right? We want to take a look at your revenue and expense trends over time and try to chart out how that will impact future performance. So this chart right here is a line graph, and the numbers that are underlie those the line chart of financial performance. General fund, your general fund is your primary operating fund, performance from 2020 to 2024. And it's difficult to see for folks in the audience, but basically what it's showing is that in most years the township ran a surplus. There are two red numbers actually in the surplus deficit line there, which would lead you to believe that there are 2 years of deficits. It's really only 1 year, because in 2021 that deficit was attributable to a refinancing of debt that the township did, and the refinancing really resulted in debt service savings over time. It was kind of an anomaly for that year. So the township has been responsible and been able to achieve surpluses and build a solid cash reserve position, which at the end of 2024 was about $6.5 million. What we look at from a trend perspective is an average annual rate of growth of revenues and expenses. And the revenue growth, as Brooke mentioned, is about 3% a year average annually. Much of that growth is because of rate increases in the real estate tax. That is compared to 6% average annual growth in expenses. And you can kind of see that in that orange line there. It comes from a much lower point on the graph in 2020 and ends pretty close to where the blue line ends in 2024. So when you have the mismatch in the growth rates, that it is something that we take into account certainly when we're trying to project out future fiscal performance. This is a pie chart of the township's main revenue sources. Anybody who's familiar with any budget of any source, but certainly a municipal budget that is, has seen something like this. The main takeaway here is that the township's primary revenue sources are real estate tax and earned income tax, which combined represent about half of the total revenue. A little bit unique for the accounting of the township's finances is that pie wedge in the top left, which is reimbursement from the authority, the sewer and stormwater operations, for debt service related to the authority. So that's more or less just a pass-through for the debt service. The authority also reimburses the township for some overhead costs. There's some management that the township provides for the authority, and then some public works related support that is reimbursed to the general fund every year or two. Otherwise, the other revenue sources are not too dissimilar from other municipalities in Pennsylvania. Again, this is a little bit harder to see too. We tried to track the revenues over time because this is a trend analysis. It's not just like a one single pie chart year. It shows that the bottom blue box, that's the real estate tax revenue, it does go up a little bit over time. And also the orange box, which is right above it, the EIT, the earned income tax. The top blue, dark blue box is the reimbursement from the authority that we were just talking about. And you can see the gradual trends upward. There's the spike in 2021 related to the debt service refinancing that we referenced earlier, and also those top boxes at the top that are brown. Those are where your COVID relief came in, and they were particularly large in 2020, 21, 2022. Have a similar pie chart for operating expenses. And this is meant to show that, like other municipalities in the Commonwealth, and I suspect workforce costs are our primary expense drivers. It's a workforce intensive business. So about 2/3, 67% of the general fund operating expenses are workforce related. Now for this pie chart, we did take out that authority reimbursement since it is just a pass-through. We wanted to represent, what the core township operations look like. So that's not included for these purposes. There is a portion of the debt service that is directly township related, and if you add that to the pie to give you a sense of what your fixed costs are, that's 78% overall cost. So that blue wedge that's kind of sticking out there, that's 22% of costs. Not all that is discretionary. We run into a lot of communities that it's like, well, we want X, so why don't you just take it out of all the stuff that we don't want? When you really boil down to what you have flexibility in with your budget, there are a lot of constraints. This is the pie chart by function. That is your departments. Your police department is 50% of the general fund on average since 2020. That's not dissimilar to what we see other places. The other key function, public works, about 17%. Again, about in line with what we see. But your primary municipal service in Susquehanna and generally for any municipality that provides its own police service is police department. Similar slide here that we looked at for the revenues over time. What is going, what are the key values of the expenses? Overall expenses increased $4.4 million from 2020 to 2024. Like I mentioned, average annual growth of 6%. That's well above inflation, even accounting for a couple high inflation years in 2023, 2024. And workforce costs were 60% of this growth, and that's mainly the salaries and wages. On average, over this time, $460,000 was contributed to the Capital Improvement Fund, while $2.6 million was transferred to the American Rescue Plan Act Fund. That's where the township accounted for its COVID relief funds from the federal government.
The general fund baseline 5-year projection, again, a reminder, we're assuming the trends that Dan just walked through remain the same. And this provides a projection over the next 5 years. The structural budgetary imbalance results in operating deficits immediately. You can see that in the 2026 projection where the expenses are above revenue, and that trend compounds over time as a result of on the revenue side, EIT remains the key revenue driver. And in this scenario, no corrective action, your real estate tax millage rate remains the same. Alternatively, on the expense side, you have salaries and wages growing at 3%. We have healthcare growing at 5.5%, which is in line with national projections. However, healthcare spending can be volatile, and there have been years in the township where it's exceeded 5.5, and some years where it has been less than 5.5. So any salary increases above 3% or any healthcare growth above the national average would only worsen the financial outlook moving forward. We also include, as a point of reference, the CPI, which, as we all know, is ever evolving these days, but 2.4% growth is what inflation is expected to be, and that provides a useful benchmark to compare your growth over time against. If you have operating deficits in many years, the only way to fund your expenses would be to use your savings, essentially, your cash reserves. This line that you see as nosediving is the level of cash that the borough has in the general fund. We start with about $6.4 million at the start of, projected at the start of next year. And as those operating deficits mount, you end up at $730,000 or so, $700,000 by the end of this projection period. And for context, we use GFOA, which is considered best practices in fund balance levels and general municipal financial management. They say that you should maintain at least 15% of annual expenses in cash reserves. So a drop to $700,000 or so would be 3% of your cash reserves, which would obviously put the township in a position where it would be difficult to address emergencies. It would be difficult to address years where healthcare growth may exceed the average, or it might be difficult to address payouts for your retirees. So 3% fund balance level is certainly not a recommended level for any municipality. As we mentioned, this is an interim part of the report. This is an interim building block. We have conducted our historical look back. I just walked through the baseline forecast. Our next step is to develop the fiscal strategy, the recommendations that help address some of the challenges that we just walked through. We have a timeline here that ultimately culminates in a November final report where Dan and I will be back in front of all of you presenting our plan. We've listed some areas that we are focused on currently. If workforce costs, as Dan laid out, are the majority of the budget, we are certainly going to explore strategies to control workforce cost growth over time. Capital improvement planning, key. You have $15 million in needs identified. How do you pay for those needs over time? Improving financial management infrastructure. As we walked through this presentation, you likely heard us say a few times, if you don't consider the authority pass-through, if you just consider the general fund operations, we have some recommendations and ways to reflect financial activity that we think is simpler, more transparent, using multi-fund accounting, separating trash activity into a trash fund, separating sewer activity to a sewer fund. We think it's best practice financial management. Economic development, we talked a bit about the millage rate at the start of the program. The township does have the second highest millage rate of any township. Is near the median of all communities that provide local police service, but there is a taxing capacity for any community. So we've outlined a series of challenges that will all create upward pressure on your millage rate. You have capital needs, you have growing expenses. That means your millage rate would have to increase to fund those challenges. So economic development and thinking through maintaining a competitive tax and fee mix will be a part of the plan. And thinking through the feasibility of providing fire service in the long term has to be a thought for every municipality in this county and likely most municipalities in the state. And as I mentioned, our timeline, we are heading towards a November date where we'll deliver the 5-year plan, the final draft plan for consideration. Questions?
Anybody have any questions? So you're coming back in November, right?
We will, there will be a draft plan in between. We know you are in your budget season, right? Which is, I think when I was here a few months ago, I said this is an ideal time to pursue an STMP because our recommendations will align with your budget, and they are. So between now and November, we anticipate working closely with all of you as you think about your 2026 budget, and then ultimately return to the public meeting in November.
Okay. Any questions? Teresa, anything you want to add?
No, thank you very much. I've been very involved in getting reports and budget information and have a really open dialogue, and I appreciate your oversight and what you bring to the table today. I know we'll continue to work with you. You always do a bang up job with services, so sit and see what else you bring. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the agenda. We did meet in executive session, I'd like to note, and we discussed matters of personnel and real estate. Okay, next up is ordinances, resolutions. Number one is Susquehanna Township Municipal Solid Waste Contract Award. Teresa Eberly.
Thank you, Mr. President. The trash solid waste contract has been a long process. We started working on it at the beginning of the year. We had an RFP out in May. We approved our Penn Waste partnership in July, and now we're at the final end of this process. It's more of an administrative process right now. It establishes the legal terms of how we're going to be in partnership with Penn Waste. So staff is asking for approval of the contract contingent upon the solicitor and the manager working on any final details.
Mr. President, I'll move for approval of the 5-year contract subject to the contingency.
Second.
Moved in second. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You guys, who you with? Landscapers? Want to move up in the agenda?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, thanks, you too. Appreciate it. Okay, well, we'll consider that next before we move on to the MMO. And so this is the RFP for the 2026 Township Landscaping Contract. Mr. Canals, you want to do that? Sorry, didn't mean to jump ahead of you there.
Where'd he go?
Thank you, Commissioners. Yes, we put our landscaping contract back out for public RFP. We did send it out and advertise it various methods. Our current contract with Davis Landscaping is under the Pennsylvania CoStarz contract, but we felt it was time to take a look at this and see where we're at. So we received 2 proposals for contract services, one from Davis Landscaping for $202,740, and then one from Four Seasons Property Management for $172,800. I did review both proposals. They were both complete. I also did reach out to references for Four Seasons and got glowing remarks from those references as well. So at this time, Township staff is recommending awarding a 1-year contract to Four Seasons Property Management in the amount of $172,800, and that would begin in 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And they are here tonight if you have any questions for them.
Does anybody have any questions?
I have, well, just a general question. It's just a 1-year contract, is?
Correct.
Well, I guess we'll then have to rebid after 1 year?
No, we have an option within the contract to extend it another year or 2.
Okay, sure.
It could go up to 3 years currently.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good catch. Next up is the 2026 MMO worksheet. Manager Eberly.
Thank you, Mr. President. The law does require the chief administrative officer of each pension plan to inform the governing body of the plan expected financial obligation for the coming year. So this must be done by the end of September, and there's no action needed. It's just as information. So our obligation, 2026 MMO obligation for police is $1,919,622, and for the non-uniform, it's $499,328, and that is for in our PMRS pension plans that are in place in the township.
Okay, so is that being baked into the budget?
Yes, sir. Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Any comments or questions of Teresa? Okay. All right, moving on is, next up is Resolution 25R13, which would approve a collective bargaining agreement with ASME Council 13, Local 2944D, and Susquehanna Township Authority for a term beginning January 1st, 2026, and expiring December 31st, 2028. Manager Eberly.
Thank you, sir. It's straightforward, collective bargaining agreement, 3 years. We worked together with our authority union to come up with a solution. We all worked in good faith and were able to come up with the contract that is before you.
All right, is there a motion?
Move for approval of the collective bargaining agreement with ASME Council 13, Local 2944D.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hisro, seconded by Commissioner Sanders. Comments or questions? Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the 2025-26 gaming grant application. Fire Marshal Dries.
Thank you, Mr. President, Commissioners. Respectfully request to submit the application for the 2025-26 gaming grant in the amount of $250,000 that would go towards the purchase of a fire engine. To dovetail on our financial people who are just up here, this is above the recommended $150,000 ask from municipalities. However, to read from one of the paragraphs, our poverty level is at 8.32%, the second highest township in the region. Our call volume for the fire service response has gone up 27% over the past 3 years. Our citizens endure a real estate tax of 4.2 mils, and they're strapped. We all understand that. The most cost beneficial request for Susquehanna Township and the region is to make this request of $250,000. This will be almost 21% of the total investment in a single fire engine, as well as the region's safety. With the average service life of a fire engine of 18 years and the population of Susquehanna Township approaching 30,000, this extrapolates out to $38.05 per day, or 46 cents per year for citizens in Susquehanna Township for a fire engine that will not, that still won't be delivered for 4 years. So that is my ask.
Okay. So is there a motion to submit the grant as outlined by Fire Marshal Dries?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions?
I have a question. Obviously, Chief, I'm new here, so about 20 minutes now. So if you don't get the grant, or if they come back and you're awarded $125,000, do you have a plan to make up that shortfall?
That's going to be out of the fire tax and general fund potentially.
So there's no other grants to pursue? Okay.
Every grant we can get.
Okay.
And there's some grants that just aren't, some of the federal grants are not at this, over the last 2 years, were not for fire apparatus.
Okay, thanks.
Can I ask for clarification too? I know we've been talking about the need for 2 engines, one for each fire company, and it's discussed in here generally, but at the end of the bottom of the first page, it says this will replace 2 H fire engines with 1 engine. Am I reading that to mean that at this point now, instead of going for 2 engines, we're going to just try to get 1 engine at least for the foreseeable future?
That is correct at this point in time.
Okay.
We have, so in 2029, when the expected delivery of the engine that we need, we're going to take 2 engines out of service and replace 2 engines that are going to be 22 and 23 years old with 1 engine.
Okay.
We still need another engine, so we're still working that end of the problem.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Deliver tomorrow.
Next up is Boyd Park. Doug Kidhouse with the good news. Right? Right? All right.
Thank you again. So this is a 2-parter. As the board's aware, we did a second round of bidding for electrical service to be brought into Boyd Park. Unfortunately, after we scaled back the scope of work, the bids did not change really at all. They were still excessively high, well over planned budget. The lowest bid came in at $119,000, which was the same exact bid previously. We reached out to the contractor and they felt confident with their number, even though we reduced the scope of work, which didn't make a whole lot of sense to me or Alex. So as part of this 2-parter, we're requesting that we reject all the bids that we received for the Boyd Park electrical services. On the other half, with seeing that and understanding the need for some lighting within the park for safety purposes, I did some additional research and found solar powered lighting bollards that will match the aesthetics of the park. They're wood bollards with solar panels on them that will give us low-level lighting in the parking lot area, which is one of the concerns that the chief brought up to us. That the light will not brighten the entire parking lot, but it'll give us enough light that as patrolling officers are going by after the park is closed at night, they will be able to see if there's a vehicle in the lot, and they can investigate it further. These lights are going to be sourced through a company called Fon Roche. They're a French company, but they are also have a factory in Texas, and they are currently on what's called Sourcewell, which is a cooperative purchasing agency similar to the CoStars program. It's out of Minnesota, but is more national based. We reviewed that with Solicitor Miller, and he is comfortable with us utilizing it. They meet all the Pennsylvania requirements to use them for a cooperative purchasing agency as well. So at this time, we would ask for approval of the purchase of the lighting bollards through Sourcewell in the amount of $22,500 and not spend $119,000 on bringing in electric into the park.
Mr. President, I'll move for rejection of the electrical bids and approve the alternative, the purchase of an in-house installation of the solar light bollards in the amount of $22,500.
Second.
Moved and seconded, so both parts of that are covered. Any comments, questions?
I would like to just comment that this is, to me, another example that I've seen in Public Works and Authority and elsewhere in the township through brainstorming that we're coming up with solutions to reduce costs. And I would continue to encourage that because with budget, the way they are, anytime, and the sooner we can identify cost savings, the better. But the fact that this came in at the 11th hour after 2 rejected bids was still significant, and I commend the work on this, that we were able to come up with this alternative to fix the needed problem. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
What's the timeline look like for installation?
So we're gonna do the install in-house with the park maintenance crew. So we're gonna work on pouring the bases ahead of time. It'll be about 3 to 4 weeks for us to get the bollards. So I want to get the bases poured before we have to deal with any issues with weather or cold. So as soon as they're in, the concrete will be more than cured. We can then drill them, anchor them, and get them installed. It should be a quick installation after that.
Great, that's amazing.
The lights are also Bluetooth capable, so we'll be able to control them from phones.
It's $100,000 savings.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
So I hope they last longer than my landscape lights. They're always going out.
Yeah. I tried to buy batteries last week.
Yeah.
The power on talking with the company, the amount of sunlight that the parking lot gets, and this will change in the future, but we're looking 20, 30 years down the road once the tree growth occurs. But currently, we will get enough power to support those lights 24 hours if they needed to be on, but they will easily be able to work all night long if we so choose to have them on all night long.
Gotcha. All right, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Did the landscape thing?
That
Now where are we?
close out.
Contract closeout for 2024 paving contract. Todd?
Good evening. I have finished roads. I don't have Bluetooth light bollards, so this will not be as exciting. In your packets is the closeout recommended for HRG for all outstanding work that was completed from last year's paving project for 2024 in the amount of $37,037.50. So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. I think that was Commissioner Norford? Is that right? Oh, Commissioner Hensarell. You'll get your chance.
I can't read and make motions at the same time.
It's tough.
You would have to.
Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Grease trap bearings for Luna Restaurant.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a new restaurant coming into our township, 5104 Gallo Way. They intend to operate a full-service restaurant and bar specializing in Italian cuisine. The name of the restaurant is Luna. They also hope to do some private events. The township ordinance requirement of 1,000 gallons grease trap is asked to be waived and instead installed a 861 gallon grease interceptor. The Susquehanna Township Authority approved the variance at its last meeting, and the condition is in front of you for approval.
All right. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions?
Opening date? Is there an opening date?
I don't have that yet, but
Okay.
soon.
Great.
Yep.
So Gravel Road, that's on Union Green,
Green.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is ATS Signal Maintenance 1-year Municipal Service Agreement.
Yes,
For Webb.
this is a copy of the agreement that's in your packet for this evening. This is a 1-year agreement with ATS, Atlantic Transportation Systems, who provides our vendor for our signal service. We're also exploring the opportunity of some grants with them to help upgrade several locations that have signals in the township issues. So we would currently asking for a 1-year agreement, and we're going to review and potentially send out an RFP or request another agreement with this company for next year.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. You got that, Leanne?
You gave him the first one, too.
I think it was Carl, wasn't it?
I didn't do the last two.
I did
It was Bam.
I did it.
It was Bam.
I
Hamel.
moved and he seconded.
Hamel moved, 2 seconds.
I was taking a break.
Thank you.
I second.
Moved and seconded. Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Mr. Webb. Consent agenda, nothing listed. New business, RFP for records maintenance system for the Susquehanna Township Fire Rescue Services. George?
Thank you, Mr. President. Commissioners, respectfully request to move forward with a new records management system for the fire service. The current records management software used by both fire companies and my office don't meet the new requirements by the federal government that take effect January 1. We must choose a vendor and implement the software by 1/1 of 2026 to remain compliant with federal and state requirements and eligible for all federal and state grants. Provided with your agenda are quotes from 3 vendors. Alpine Software for $15,734 or $15,734 annually. ESO, which bought out the present company that we are using in parts, for $2,205.10 annually. They did not meet most of the RFP requirements for the program, and First Due at $10,500 annually. Township staff recommends moving forward with First Due. The cost of 1-year subscription for 2026 is $10,500. That is in the 2026 budget. This will also switch over from NIFRS to NERS, which is a new system in modernizing emergency reporting, enhancing security, and using plain language to document incident types, on-scene strategies, and precise timestamps. It'll also track all of our apparatus, all of our equipment, everything from wrenches to hose, when they need service, how long they're going to be in place before they get time stamped out. All of our pre-plans would be on that, and because the municipalities around Susquehanna Township, including the West Shore, have all switched to first due. That means that when we're running mutual aid or automatic aid, they're coming in, they know where hydrants are, and we know where hydrants are, standpipe connections are on their structures as well. So that sharing is automatic through their system. This evening, we're asking for the contract for not only the 2026 year, but we're also asking for a contract to span from October 1 to January 1 of this year. So it's a two-parter. The span for the end of the year would be $4,625. That is in my present budget as well.
Mr. President, I'll move for approval of the records management system subscription from first due, both through the end of this year and the subscription for 2026.
Second.
Moved and seconded. George, what happens to the data that's already been collected or recorded? Can that be drawn into the new system?
Yeah, it's going to be brought out now. ESO, what should I say? ESO is, in my opinion, strong arming and sent out a bunch of emails saying October 1, you can't transfer that information over. So we are already front loading the information we have in case that pans out correctly. We're working with the State Fire Marshal's office or State Fire Commissioner's office to make sure that we are good with transferring all of our data over between October 1st and January 1. My subscription ends October 1. The two fire companies, their subscription ends February 1. So contractually, they shouldn't have a problem. However, there's emails floating back and forth. It is what it is. And this is the right move for everybody.
Okay, so the two companies have subscriptions with ESO? Or
Correct.
with First Due?
ESO.
Okay.
With a company that ESO bought the company that all three of us have. So we'll be we're going to be combining all three fire units, if you will, under one. And there's three other records management programs that we're going away from. This First Due is capable of handling all that, one-stop shopping.
Okay. All right.
That's great.
Yeah.
Why would they even list ESO? Do you need 3 bids? I was going to ask you, why would they even list ESO if they didn't meet the RFP requirement?
Just doing my due diligence.
Okay. Very good, thank you. That's all I have, sir.
All right. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks,
George. 2025 paving project application for payment number 2. Mr. Webb?
Yes. In your packets is the application for payment number 2 to Construction Masters Incorporated for the 2025 paving in the amount of $152,813.26.
Motion to accept.
Second.
I have a question.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner
Is
Hissarella.
there any work left to do?
Speed humps.
So, speed humps on Schoolhouse are gonna still need to be replaced, so,
Okay.
they lay the asphalt, come back and build those notches out, set the speed humps.
Okay.
Striping is still
Striping.
outstanding, and I believe everything else to this date has been
Did they also do the corners, the
ADA.
curb cuts? They did, it was one company for all of that, right? Right, okay, so, but all that's done. I think I saw them do the crosswalks.
Crosswalks.
And all
They did crosswalks at Schoolhouse and Wooded. There may be 1 or 2 additional crosswalks at the city.
I guess they did all the backfilling for the grass and the dirt and,
I received.
so, but there's not much left to do other than that.
No.
Okay.
As far as Alex and I talked earlier this week, as far as the installation of the speed cushions for Schoolhouse, it's probably going to be done on a Saturday, so the school buses won't be going over it and bottoming it out, so.
Okay, but they don't have any work left to do at the bottom of Wood Street where all the drainage is. That's a separate project, right?
Correct.
Okay. Just making sure I got it straight. Thank you.
All right. Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Todd. Commissioner comments. Anybody have any comments?
Well, I look forward to working with you folks.
Back at you.
It's amazing how quickly I was able to read this tonight. But, well, I do have a question. Is when are these passed out? Are they passed out prior to the?
5 minutes before the meeting.
At least there is.
Several days, you'll get email.
Okay. So I would have time to read it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Is that your comment, Commissioner? All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, everybody.